Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Valpo Football Weekly, brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined via Zoom by the head coach of the Valpo football program, Landon Fox, after Saturday's dramatic 24-21 road victory at Drake. And, Coach, let's start with the two big plays at the end of the game from an offensive standpoint, 4th and long situations. Kind of walk me through those completions, first to Ali Reese and then to Jordan Bingham from your standpoint, and kind of what was it like to be on your sideline during those plays?
Yeah, what was exciting to be on the sideline, take away those plays. I mean, I'll get into that in a second, but just the persistence that our guys had in terms of throughout the game. It could have been easy for them just to say, wow, this isn't going the way that we wanted it to go. And, we were able to continue to be persistent throughout the game and just have the right mindset and attitude. And those are things we talk about all the time. And so that's where I give the guys the most credit as we look back at the game. But those two plays, it was one of those things where guys were able to make a play. Ben Nims comes off the bench. In terms of he's not, he warmed up. He's not, he's coming cold off the bench and able to give Ali Reese a chance. And Ali goes up and makes a good play on the ball. That one on the sideline, to me, when he threw it, thought I had a decent chance. Ali played the ball really, really well in the air, went up and got it. And then the ball to Jordan at the end of the game was one of those where the ball that should have been caught, that we had the best chance, was the one to Braden Contreras earlier, just a couple of plays earlier, because Ben throws a good ball and gives us an opportunity. But Jordan goes up and just makes an unbelievable play, be able to go up and tip it and then come down with it. And so exciting, very exciting. It's fun to get the wins. It's fun to be 1-0 in the conference. But that being said, we have to play at a much higher level in order to be at the top of the league.
After that touchdown catch, there was still work to do. Let's talk about the final play of the game. Austin Martins, I think your shortest defensive lineman, comes up with the field goal block. And we've been talking about him week in and week out. And this week he was the PFL Special Teams Player of the Week after that game-clinching play. What can you say about Austin in that final play?
Yeah, so what we talked about Austin before was just in terms of his effort, right? And the drive prior, in the 4-minute drive, he runs down their running back number 25, and it sets up a 4th down that really gives us a chance, or they would continue to run the clock. So those effort plays, that was a big play for us, and then comes back on the field goal block. Now, I would say, again, with the guys and the execution of what they were trying to do, we had a pretty good thought going into the game that we may have a chance to get one just based on some protection things. And sure enough, I didn't know if it would be Austin Martins, but he was the one that came up with the block. So we had to do a better job, though, in terms of getting away from the ball at the end of the game. The game should have been over. I was celebrating, and we had everybody but one guy that didn't get away from the ball. And I don't believe he touched it, but he was close enough to make it close. And again, so it's that execution part to understand in the game situations.
You talked about Ben Nims. Let's talk about that decision in that moment. What goes into inserting him at quarterback, and what made you trust him in that spot to come in cold off the bench and lead that game-winning drive?
I would just say, in terms of, I think the quarterback position, sometimes think of it such as a different position. We just weren't being as efficient as we needed to be. We turned the ball over, we threw 3 interceptions, and you can't do that and win football games. And so with that being said, we tried to give somebody another opportunity, and Ben's there, and he's ready to go, and came in and obviously gave us an opportunity to win the game and won the game. But again, we just have to be more efficient at that position. We got 13 turnovers on the year, and we're just not going to win games like that. And so I told you after the game, and I still would like to know the stat, but no, not very many teams are going to win -5. We were -5 on the day in takeaways, and it's not good, and we got to be able to fix that moving forward.
And there had to be something that kept you in the game to that point, going into that final drive, and certainly you needed a few low percentage plays on the final drive to win it. But being -5 in turnover margin, how were you still in the game? What were the keys that kept you in it to that point?
Brandon, I was saying the same thing. You wanted to find out how. Well, how the heck did this happen? And I would say this: number one, we forced them into 22 third downs. That's a lot. I don't know if I've been part of 22 third downs. Now we still need to get off the field. We're just short of our goal in terms of getting off the field in those third down situations, but 22 third downs, really good. And then the kicking game was huge. That was a big part of the reason why in the field position that we were able to stay in the game in that situation. And then penalties, and I'd say more penalties based on them. The penalties that they had were huge for us.
Let's talk about this week. Great crowd for the first home game against Dartmouth. Homecoming this week. Marist coming in and coming off a big victory for you. I think Brownfield figures to be rocking on Saturday. What's going to be like to be at home for homecoming this week, and what can you tell us about Marist?
Yeah, so after the game, that's what I told the guys. I mean, that's one thing we're looking forward to is just seeing that first game and what I'm hearing from the Valparaiso community to then the Valpo University community. I would anticipate a big crowd, and I would say it's going to be exciting. It's fun. To me, it's that's what you want from a college football atmosphere. That we're a community. We're all together and supporting each other, and we come together, and it'll be exciting. And then had a number of alums reach out to me saying that they were going to be here this weekend, and so that's fun for us because a huge thing in our program, we call it the link, and we all carry around little chain links. It probably doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of people, but to us, it's a big deal. And we're linking, the past to the present and even into the future. And so that'll be fun to have those alumni back with us on Saturday.
So homecoming is all about. Looking forward to it. For those who want tickets, ticket information, valpoathletics.com/tickets. It's a noon kickoff. It's Valpo and Marist homecoming Saturday coming up this week. For all the latest in Valpo football, you can follow us on social media or check out valpoathletics.com. Head coach Landon Fox, Brandon Vickery saying this has been Valpo Football Weekly, and it's brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.